Right, we're studying about oysters at the moment, and we're studying about the living and non-living parts. But we know that in an environment, we must have those two bits working together. So how about we talk about living things in terms of biology, and biology refers to living things as biotics. All right? Now, if it's not living, then we say it's abiotic, which is the opposite. And as we can see here, we've got things like air, salinity or salt content, the soil itself, water, light, temperature, rocks and minerals, and the acidity of it, or even the humidity. All these things aren't living, and we're going to call them the abiotic things. So let's have a closer look. Right, the Earth itself decides which living things can be here. Right? Certain things like to live on mountains, certain things like to live in the water, certain things like to live a combination. So we can change, if we change the Earth itself by changing the rocks, or changing the shape of the rocks, or the slope of the rocks, then we're going to change which animals can be there, which living things can be there. So abiotics, like the Earth, can affect living things. Most importantly, we think about this. Another one, of course, is that delightful thing, and it's shining beautifully today, is the sun. Now, the sun provides us with heat and light. All right? We know that certain animals and plants and other living things need light. We know that certain things need lots of light and other things don't need as much light. So the amount of light and heat that comes from the sun doesn't really change, but it can be changed by other things, like if we've got clouds in the sky, like if we're in under a shady tree, right? Or if we're living in a cave under the ground. So we can have this combination, and that decides which living things can live there. So this abiotic thing also affects living things. We know we don't like being cold and we don't like being too hot. Well, that's the same for every other piece of living thing. We could almost think of it like the old story about Goldilocks, about being too hot or too cold or just right. Now, lots of living things cannot live, or they don't like it at all, if it's too hot or too cold. And we actually say that living things can only exist in a certain temperature range. And that temperature range will be dependent upon which living thing we're talking about. So here's another abiotic thing which affects our biotics, or the environment and the living things that can live there. We always talk about it. We talk about storms, we talk about the wind, we talk about everything, the weather. Now, the weather has a big factor that affects other things too, because the weather can also impact on the non-living or abiotic part, like the Earth. It can break down the Earth itself, it can blow on sandy areas, it can blow sand or soil away, all sorts of things. So it can affect the living things that can grow there as well. My goodness, it's one of living things that can survive with all these things against them. Right, one of the things we haven't done too much about yet is a thing called acidity, or how acid something is. Now, for those who don't remember acid, think about if you've been ever sucked on a lemon or a green orange. They taste sour, don't they? And that's a lot to do with the acid in them. Now, acid we measure using a thing called little p, capital H, or pH. It should be capital H here too. Now, these things can affect animals, particularly animals with shells. Hint, Mr. Oyster. Now, if the pH is too low, or we've got too acid, it can cause the shells to come apart. Not good for an oyster. Not good for any shellfish. Okay? If it's too high, they just don't grow in it. It kills them. Or it's too low. Again, animals need a low range. There's a very, very short little range of pH values where they're comfortable in. The last one I'm going to deal with today is the idea of salt. We go in the oceans, which is salty. Now, all those salts are soluble things that rainwater picks up as it flows through the earth, as it flows through the soil and it flows over the top in rivers and creeks and things like that. It picks up and dissolves these salts, and it then takes them to the ocean, and it becomes part of the ocean. So salinity can really, really affect animals and plants as well. It can kill them. Too much salt can kill them. Not enough salt for certain animals is not very good. Some fish animals, some fish species, actually have to very carefully change themselves as they go from living in the ocean to living back into rivers and creeks, because rivers and creeks have a lot less salt or salinity than the ocean. Lots of things to think about, but mainly I hope you now know that the non-living part of the environment is super important in deciding which animals and plants and living things we will actually find in any of the environments on the earth.